Hello and welcome to Spark Rugby League. We're going to talk today about the RFL's comments, particularly Ralph Rimmer's comments on Leeds Rhino's decision not to travel to Catalans at the weekend after one of their players started to show symptoms of the coronavirus. Now Leeds didn't want to put, we're getting on a flight with the public, they didn't want to put the public at risk, so they didn't travel. That player has since been tested for coronavirus. That's come back negative, but I think Leeds' decision not to travel has proved to be the correct one, because since then flights back from Spain, from France have all been cancelled, so Leeds could have been stuck there. So you would think that they've made a sensible choice there. However, the RFL have come out with two separate statements, an initial one and since Ralph Rimmer's gone on 5 Live.
Yeah, well I've got all the quotes here. So in the initial statement, when they first announced on the RFL website that Leeds had chosen not to travel, they ended the statement by saying the consequences of this decision on the match and any sanction will be determined by the RFL board. So that was sort of the initial threat, and like you've said, Ralph Rimmer's since gone on BBC Radio 5 Live and said the following. So he said, yes, which he means is a sanction, is a possibility. We spoke with Leeds at some length this week on that particular issue. We've applied the guidelines which the government have asked us to observe. Leeds took a unilateral decision not to travel to that fixture. That will now follow. That will follow due process now.
Well,
so that does sort of just say it all, doesn't it? They're not happy with the decision Leeds took. They felt it was selfish.
Yeah.
They thought Leeds were thinking about just their own interests and no one else's, which is a strange way to look at it, because at the end of the day, there's been so much put out there and people have been banging on so much this past couple of weeks about health and safety, keeping yourself safe, staying away from any possible contamination of the coronavirus, and it seems as if Leeds have, if nothing else, just been completely vigilant in the measures taken to stop the spread. Which you would think any ordinary circumstances they would be applauded for. Well done for putting those measures in place and being vigilant and looking at the scenario and doing what you think's best for not only yourselves but everyone else. Other members of the public, other teams and stuff. But it seems as if the RFL was so well. It does seem a little bit desperate almost. They were so adamant that fixture was going to go ahead. There was obviously so much talk about it beforehand with whether or not the game was going to be played. It was then going to be played behind closed doors. Then they were going to stream the game live on the Sky Sports YouTube channel. So I think you could there's a possibility there that could you say it's frustration maybe from the RFL, in that they've tried, they've worked so hard to make sure this game happens.
Yeah. That
Leeds have then just made an independent decision and said, you know what, we're not flying, we're not going to risk it.
I think that's spot on. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. But I mean, you've got Leeds there not wanting to travel. You've got Catalans who didn't want to play the fixture.
Yeah.
You've got the Catalans captain Remy Casti, who says, I'm not training before any season suspension came out. He says, I'm not training or I'm not playing. What if I get this virus and he's like, I don't fear getting the virus, but I fear getting it, and passing it on to a relative, an elderly relative who could potentially be fatal, and as it's proved to be a fatal virus that's going round. I think Leeds should be applauded for that decision they've made. We don't know the ins and outs of exactly who they've contacted first.
Yeah.
Whether they've gone, we're not going, and then they've contacted the RFL, or they've contacted the RFL and gone, look, this is the situation we're in. The RFL have gone, well, look, it's your decision, but we want you to go. And then Leeds have gone, well, we refuse, we're not going.
Yeah.
We don't know the whole ins and outs of how that conversation has gone on, but I think, these are unprecedented times.
Oh, yeah.
It just seems unnecessary to be talking about doing this at such an uncertain time for everyone. It just seems, like I said, just so unnecessary, and I don't feel like anything should come of this. I just think if the RFL was smart about it, they'd just come out now and look, we've considered everything that's gone into it. The season's now been suspended. We're looking at rescheduling this game and all the other games, and Leeds won't face any punishment. Then everyone will be like, fine, fair enough. They've rethought what they've said, and that seems like the sensible choice. But whether that will happen, I don't think it will, by what he said on 5 Live.
what sanctions do you think we're possibly looking at?
Well, it's going to be a fine.
I was going to say, we're talking fines, are we?
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be a points deduction.
Well, you don't know. No.
They're trying to. I mean, if that was the case, trying to say, look, they forfeited the game. But that's
another one that you could look at. Will they take it as Leeds have? If it's an independent decision made by Leeds to choose not to fly, is that deemed as them then forfeiting the game? I mean, surely you wouldn't.
No,
you couldn't suggest it is, but you never know, do you? Especially at times, everything in the world and not just in sport but life in general is so uncertain at the minute that you never know something like that.
Well, before the season suspension was announced, Toulouse said, "Look, we're not playing that game yet.
Yeah,
we're not travelling over to England to play against Dewsbury. Well, we're not taking the risk." And who can blame them? I can't blame them. I can't blame Leeds.
No, exactly.
Like I said, it's unprecedented times for everybody in sport, in life, and I feel there are more important things in rugby league. Leeds have recognised that. They don't want to put people at risk. They want to put this player in self-isolation, and it is a very sensible decision they've made, I think. How they've gone about it, whether they've gone about it the right way, I don't know, but they've come to the right decision in the end, and I feel that needs to be recognised.
Without a doubt, I think if they were to face any sort of, whether it is fine, points deduction, forfeit of game, that would be completely out of order, I think.
Yeah.
You look at their situation compared to others, there is so much more risk in jumping on a plane and, possibly 2 planes, I don't know what the schedule was, but jumping on a plane to go to, more Central Europe, which is one of the worst affected places in the world, as opposed to going over the Pennines.
Yeah.
To play against Castleford or whoever. There's so much more risk involved in the journey that Leeds would have had to undertake that you can see exactly why they chose not to. And I think for the RFL to single them out and say, you were selfish in that decision, and we're gonna punish you for it, would be completely out of order.
Yeah, I agree. And if they have taken the decision to go, then they might still be there now.
Exactly.
And if Catalans didn't want to play the game anyway, it was like, who was actually making the decision to play that game? Were the RFL and simply keen to get it on because Catalans have already had 3 games suspended and they're worried about there's going to be fixture congestion. I just think the wider picture was looked at by Leeds, and there should be, that should be recognised and appreciated, and not should come of this. So, let us know your thoughts, guys. Was it right for Leeds not to go over to Catalans and to make that decision seemingly themselves? Like I say, we don't know all the ins and outs, but let us know your thoughts on that. Let us know your thoughts on Ralph Rimmer's comments and whether you feel he's been fair with that, and the whole situation in rugby league at the moment. The season suspended. What do you think is the best way to go forward with the season in general and the fixtures, and when should games be rearranged and everything? It's all uncertain. We don't really know. Yeah. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.